The ceremonies originated at the beginning of time. And the ceremonies are a directive of God. We call him Iman Kyun Hwayan. He has other names. After he set the world in place, which is the English version of after he created the world, he said, this is what you do to set the world in place. This is how you restore it. This is how you make it the way it's supposed to be. And so we hold ceremonies where we pray for the salmon, and we pray for the rain, and we pray for the weather, and we pray for deer, and we pray for climate. All parts of putting the world in place so that the salmon run every year like they're supposed to, and that the deer and the wildlife and the acorn trees produce in abundance.
I've watched the salmon die in the Klamath River because they have no water.
The water is the big main factor of this whole situation, and fish, we need the fish.
The Federal Energy Regulatory Commission is an independent federal agency that regulates electric power, natural gas, oil pipelines, and the non-federal hydroelectric industry. The commission consists of 5 commissioners that are appointed by the President and confirmed by the Senate.
Hopefully the Pacific Corps can consider not only economical issues, but will take into consideration the local people that live in the watershed of the Klamath Basin.
Annually, the project generates about 757,000 megawatt hours per year, which is about enough electricity to power about 70,000 homes.
All that time, my poor father used to tell me they're putting dams in so we could have electricity. And to this day, Sragon Village don't have electricity.
We were promised that our concerns would be heard.
The government's messed with our people long enough.
The dams, we want them out to save our people and the fish.
Dams need to come down and give the water back to the fish.
In the last 50 years, the dams have succeeded in almost killing the fish.
And we were promised that we're going to hear your issues. Your issues will be addressed.
I think the dams are killing the fish, and I think they got to come out.
When the dust settled, none of our issues were addressed.
The Klamath Project license was issued in 1954 for a 50-year term.
We're asked quite often, why do we fight so hard for the Trinity River? Why do we commit so much of our resources, our time, our efforts, and our energy to defend Trinity River flows, or to try to get increased Trinity River flows?
What do you think about the dams?
What do I think?
Yeah.
Everything I think that they need to release more water.
The dam right now is being relicensed for the next 50 years, and in their environmental impact statement, there's not one mention of Andromeda's fish of any kind being affected by the dams.
Why do you fight so hard for a few extra fish? And the person who asked that question missed the whole point.
The salmon have just as much right to that river as the people do.
I think the problem started with Western Europeans when we got here.
Trinity River is part of our world. And just like the mountains and the air we breathe and the animals that survive here, we try to think of this place through an Indian perspective. The river is described as the lifeblood of our world. Streams are the arteries that feed the river. And so it's all an interconnectedness with us. It's very much a part of our culture that we are put here by our Creator to protect this world.
Kikhanak atu tu nakhat onat ningan dikyang dekayat tingming ninsan kyo tu tahitet de chains. Hai kyu nyan hai semet on hai ho stai nukwong plene sa anaso delte. Hai nukwong sa anaso delte.
The river is a place where we play, it's a place where we work, it's a place where we provide sustenance for our families, and it's a place where we teach our children certain traditional values. If our river isn't healthy, then our community isn't healthy. Californians generally have to decide, is this worth protecting? Is this worth saving for future generations? But sooner or later we're going to run out of resources. And the question is, what did we preserve for the rest of history? What did we preserve for future generations? So to ask the rest of California to think like an Indian for a moment. What is it you want to preserve 7 generations from now? Is there one river that's going to be maintained in a wild and pristine manner in California? Or are they all going to become cement rivers funneling water to Central Valley and south?
So, what does this represent?
We're in sorrow because our fish aren't getting home.
We downstream for the last 50 years have endured, we've been the sacrificial lamb. We've endured all of the regulations and all of the restrictions. And I don't want to pit the farmers against the fishermen or against the tribes or anything like that, because I know that farmers feed America, but we feed America also, and we don't want to be sacrificed anymore.
If you look at it over the scale of human history, people were here for 10,000 years, and just virtually overnight, these dams were put up before anyone knew the harm that would be brought to this region.
The thing that we said the loudest was we want the fish returned to their historic range. We want dam removal to be considered. We're lied to again.
If it wasn't for the salmon, we wouldn't be living.
To get to the Trinity, you have to take, your first stop is Klamath River mouth from the Pacific Ocean, and then you take a right about 45 miles upstream and you go to the Trinity. And of course the Hoopa Valley tribe has fished the Trinity and the Klamath since time immemorial.
'27 and 37. Out-migrant trap for Mill Creek, and basically it's based upon a formula. We take a certain percentage of the stream and catch any out-migrant or any salmon that have returned to the stream that spawn. Their emergent fry come out and get into the stream as fingerlings in the next year, and we trap them, mark them to see how many are coming back, and then we take them up to another pool, we drop them in, Let's see how many are actually resident versus how many are actually coming back. Then we apply that percentage to the stream, which is applied across the basin. So these are the out-migrant traps for milkweed.
Seeing as the mark, we just barely even take a piece of their bottom tail, and it's just so when they roll over you can tell that he's marked.
At the beginning of time, spirit people roamed the earth. And then came the great transformation, and some of us were transformed into human beings, and some of us spirit people were transformed into rocks, trees, water, and fish, and all the other things that exist in the natural world. And that is why we as Indian people say we're related. We're related to one another, we're related to the fish, we're related to the rocks and the trees and the water. Everything in nature we're related to very closely because we're all originally spirit people.
So why are you here? I'm here to protest the terrible decision on our water control.
The way it looks now, you're gonna have to have biologists to implant feet on those fish so they can walk up the river bars or something. That's the way it looks like to me.
We don't have time. We can't let this go on. 2 years ago, you've seen the damage that was done with the fish. This cannot happen again. We can't let it happen again. 60 years from now, it's going to be way too late. Right now is a time that you can change things. You can turn things around. I ask you to please listen to everyone's words. I felt a little while ago when I looked at you, you're getting sick sitting there. You're feeling really sick. I can feel that. And I do. I feel sorry for you. I pray for you too while I'm sitting here. If you need help taking down that dam, sir, I can give you my phone number. I will help you take the dam down.
The California Department of Fish and Game already concluded that 35,000 salmon died in the lower Klamath Basin because of low flows and high water temperatures. The 35,000 fish that died because of the timing of that run were Trinity River salmon. Some people don't understand the impact of that. I literally watch grown men cry, stand on the riverbank and cry. Not over a dead salmon, but over such a catastrophic injury to our world. It's hard. You stand on the riverbank and you stand with your elders and you stand with your children and you realize there's something that has happened that was beyond your control, that didn't need to happen.
Pay more attention to the ceremonies that all the Native Americans in this room believe in, because my grandmother told me, you learn those words at World Renewal, because those are the closest thing to truth on earth. Go.